All right, what is up, guys? I am back for Game 3, Team Liquid versus TSM. This is the NA LCS Finals. Obviously, I'm going to be spoiling the results, so if you don't want the results spoiled, this is your spoiler warning. We'll be focusing on the pick ban phase for Game 3, go through which team has the advantages and breaking down all the good things and bad things that each team does during this draft phase. So the bans for Team Liquid are Lissandra, Ryze, Akali. These have been very standard bans for them this series, and they're really kind of trying to target out Bjergsen. And then on TSM side, they ban out the Jace, Taric, and Sylas. The Sylas and Jace seem to be very common for TSM when they're on red side. I think they just want to really deny that first pick Jace, that impact play. And then they're going to ban out the Taric in order to prevent them from doing the Sona Taric duo. So yeah, let's get into it and see what champions they wind up going for in this phase. They're hovering the Yorick. I don't think that would have been a good pick. They end up going with the Varus, which I actually really like. I think Varus is a really well-rounded AD carry, and he's just a good pick for a lot of different compositions. Doesn't really show your hand that much in like a drafting phase. So Varus is a good first pick. For support, they're going for the Galio, TSM is, and for their next pick, they're going to go for the Kalista, which is a Sven pocket pick, I guess you would call it. So let's show you what it looks like on the for the chart right now. Whoops, need to zoom in. All right, so you can see that Varus, very well-rounded, best in Siege, and the Kalista Galio are very strong into attack. Attack is a team composition that requires heavy-duty engage, AoE abilities, that kind of stuff. It's basically like your 5v5 Wombo type style. Siege is more poking and sieging, not fighting, looking to disengage, looking to poke, and basically force opponents to give up objectives because their health gets depleted to the point where they can't really contest the objective without risking their death. So attack is very good into Siege because attack can pretty much just start the fight instantaneously, and Siege wants to stall out, poke, not fight very quickly, and attack can just basically just steamroll right through them. So right now, TSM has the advantage. We'll see how Team Liquid responds with their next picks. So things the compositions that are good into attack would be catch and protect. So we would be looking for Team Liquid to go either for somebody who's really good at protecting and disengaging in the support role or the mid role. I mean, you can talk about it. Most Wardens and most Enchanters are good at that. Or they can go towards a catch composition, which would mean more single target CC, burst damage. So you're talking burst mages, assassins, that kind of stuff. Let's see what they go for. Tahm Kench would be a great pick. Varus Tahm Kench is just a really, really strong duo because the Varus is really strong, but he lacks mobility. The Tahm Kench gives him additional safety. And we'll see what their next pick would be. Nocturne, LeBlanc could potentially work. They wind up going for the Gangplank, which is a very interesting pickup, in my personal opinion. It doesn't help them a ton. The Tahm Kench really helps them. The Gangplank, I don't think so much. I think that's more of just a comfort pick for impact. So you can see, look at that. So they go from red side having 82% win rate to red side having an 11% win rate because they went from having a siege composition to a protect composition. So that's the power of a single pick right there, and Tahm Kench was a perfect pick. And then with the Gangplank, that's going to probably move them more towards an attack composition, but they'll still stay in a protect style composition. So yeah, they moved more towards attack, but they're still protect, which means that now Team Liquid has a massive advantage. They're in the driver's seat, and TSM has to respond. The reason why protect is so good into attack is attack wants to 5v5 team fight. They want to engage as hard as they can, Protect wants to 5v5 team fight as well, but they don't want to engage. They want to be engaged upon. They like to counter engage. So they're really good at counter engage. They're really good at basically just, you know, putting up that defense, stopping the engage, and then basically beating the attack composition in a 5v5 team fight. Because remember, the game is balanced around, you know, the 5 attributes I talked about in my previous videos: damage, toughness, crowd control, mobility, and utility. And protect compositions don't need mobility. Attack compositions do. So because protect compositions don't need mobility, that means that they can spread their resources into other attributes like utility, toughness, damage, crowd control. They're usually superior in at least one of those areas when compared to an attack composition. So protect composition, very good into attack compositions. So now TSM has to either go towards a protect composition of their own, or they need to go towards a siege composition or a split push composition. Split push could be a pretty good choice with Bjergsen and Broken Blade on your team. No reason not to go for that 1-3-1 or something like that. So let's see what they go for. So the last pick winds up being the Vladimir. I don't really like this pick because Vladimir is not that really good split pusher that I was hoping that would be on Broken Blade. So we can see what happens. That's going to keep them as an attack composition, which is not going to help them. So they're basically all inning on this attack composition style, and it's not going to work for them if Team Liquid stays with either protect composition or they transition more towards a catch composition, which are both very viable options with their last 2 picks. So let's see what the bans are. First ban is Zoe. That is actually, I think that actually hurts TSM because Zoe would actually be pretty good in this situation because that would allow them to go more towards a siege composition. Jarvan, good ban. Looks like they're trying to force out a Rek'Sai pick from TSM. We'll see if that actually works. Zilean. So Zilean would also have been a good pickup for TSM because they get the next pick, but it's also a denial to Team Liquid because Zilean would be a great mid laner for this composition as well. So this is kind of, if they didn't want to pick the Zilean, then they definitely should have banned it. So that would have been a good ban if they weren't looking to actually pick the Zilean for themselves. So that could be, I could consider that actually a really good ban on their part. Final ban will be the Corki. So Corki, I think that's actually a pretty good ban as well because Corki is decent into protect and siege composition. He's a marksman, so he's got high DPS, but he's also got his rockets, which give him good range. So yeah, that's a good ban actually as well from Team Liquid. They're trying to deny those mid laners who are good in protect compositions or sieging compositions. So right now, TSM's in kind of a bad spot. I think there's only a few mid laners left that they could potentially go towards that would be good into a protect or siege composition. None of them are really that meta. They could go for a Azir or like Cassiopeia for a protect composition, or they could go for like a Vel'Koz or a Xerath for a siege composition. None of those champions are very meta in the pro scene right now. So we'll see what they wind up actually picking. They're hovering the LeBlanc, and they lock it in. So LeBlanc. So that's going to move them more towards a catch composition, but I don't think it's actually going to sway them enough. But even if it did sway them into a catch composition, that actually doesn't help TSM that much because right now Team Liquid is showing a protect composition, and protect compositions are also good against catch compositions. Catch compositions go for that single target crowd control, high burst damage. They like to pick off people. Protect comps are really good at protecting people, so it's very hard to burst that one enemy out against a protect composition. So let's see how Team Liquid responds. Team Liquid is in a fantastic position for this draft. They can draft either more defensive champions to round out their protect composition, or they can draft single target CC burst damage, and they can transition to a catch composition, which will also counter the attack composition of TSM. So the first pick they're going for is the Skarner. So that's exactly what the doctor ordered for a catch composition. So it's single target CC. Zed would be a good pickup because that's also would put them towards a catch composition, but they wind up going for the Syndra, which also puts them as a catch composition. So let's plug in those two picks so we can see what happens. This should transition them to a catch composition potentially because Skarner and Syndra are super heavy into catch. So yeah, you can see that they already went to catch now, and then the Syndra pick will make that even more catch oriented. Yeah, there you go. So Team Liquid started off with a protect composition and then transitioned into a catch composition, which is good against attack compositions because catch compositions can usually pick someone off in an attack composition, which means that the attack composition can never fight a 5v5 team fight, which is what attack compositions want to do. They want to fight 5v5 team fights. So let's see what the final pickup is. I don't think there's really anything that TSM could have gone for that would have helped them since only their jungler was left. They wind up going for the Rek'Sai, and what that winds up doing to their team is it should keep it an attack composition. So yep, it keeps it in an attack composition. Team Liquid has a catch composition. Team Liquid has a massive advantage going into this game, and I remember correctly, Team Liquid wins it. They're down 2-0, and I know this game went past 3 games, so we'll see how it turns out. You can see that initially, well, they're about even. Team TSM has a few more kills, but they're pretty much even right now. Still even, still even. But yeah, you can see that the Team Liquid always has a slight advantage now that we've gotten past the laning phase. Yeah, so now the gold lead has grown to about 5,000, and it should continue to grow. You can see the TSM's always getting pushed back. Team Liquid always has map control. They're always the ones who are kind of pushing TSM around, and TSM is reacting to them. They got the Baron, they got the mid inhib, they're going for the Elder, they get the pick, and it looks like that's going to be pretty much all she wrote for that fight. So yep, Team Liquid winds up winning. They had the catch composition, which is very good against attack compositions, and that's what allowed them to win the game. In my personal opinion, this actually begins the reversal of fortunes for Team Liquid, who is down 2-0, so now it's 2-1. TSM's favor right now going into game 4. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope I made sense on why or what made up certain team compositions and why they were strong or weak against other team compositions. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Definitely leave a like if you like this series, and I'll keep trying to do them. I hope you all have a fantastic day. This is Randomonium signing off.